Alien 3, directed by David Fincher, is the next chapter in the Alien franchise following Aliens. The film follows Ellen Ripley, once again played by Sigourney Weaver, who has crash landed on the planet Fiorina, a maximum security prison that houses only male criminals that are murderers and rapists. Soon enough, she learns that her and her inmates are about to face a new breed of aliens on the rise, and with no weapons, they have to find a way to save themselves, and leaving the planet may be their only way out. The success of the first two Alien films made it clear that there was room for more. Alien 3 marked a debut for soon-to-be famous director David Fincher. Too bad that we didn't get to see Fincher's talent shine with this one because of heavy studio interference being prevalent here. And we see this often today with movies. Just take a look at the last two DC films. Studio interfered, and we ended up with not so great of movies. I mean, Batman v Superman, I'll defend that movie. You know, I there are things I really liked about that movie. But Suicide Squad was even more of a mess than Batman v Superman was. And we see this a lot of times when studios interfere, that movies tend to be bad. And that's what kind of happened with this one. When you watch the films, you kind of say, somewhere in this movie is something great, but it's not being explored more and not brought to the surface. See, the concept of Ripley washing up on shores of a prison planet where male inmates haven't seen a woman in years, done purposely to promote peace and prevent an uprising, is great. You know, Ripley arriving brings a disturbance and a reason for the inmates to give in to man's nature. That's good stuff right there. But having aliens rise up out of nowhere and try to kill everybody was probably not a good idea. You know, just having Ripley come to realize that something is growing inside of her would have been enough to create suspense and maybe even horror if it ever comes to light. But the studio would not have approved of something like that with little action, considering that its predecessor had tons of it. And it shows. The film is trying to be more and more gruesome. From what I understand, there were many ideas thrown in the air about what Alien 3 should be about. Even one where Ripley wouldn't have been the main character. The demand for Alien films was there, but it seemed like coming up with one story that would be as good as the other Alien films that would continue to bring success was going to be harder than anticipated. And Fincher had some unique ideas, but most of them were shot down by the studios. And while there are two versions of the film, none really resulted in the vision that Fincher had for the film, and he never talks about Alien 3. He thinks that it's a complete failure. But aside from the trouble this film had on paper, there are some serious issues that the film faces with its pacing, the effects, camera work, and even the central characters. The movie has trouble trying to figure out an even structure that flows well. It seemed as if they were coming up with ideas as they were going along, and they just kind of threw them in there without much thought. The film decides to kill two characters from the second film, Aliens, that most people grew to like, and introduced other characters without giving us any reason to root for them or care. Let's kill off some characters that they like and replace them with murderers and rapists. They'll like them for sure. Well, isn't that just a big middle finger to everybody? I mean, if I even remotely care about any of these inmates in the film, it's because I like the actors playing the role due to the likable characters that they've played in other works, like Pete Postlethwaite and Charles Dance. And then there's just things in this movie that don't make sense. Ripley, at one point in this movie, engages in sex with someone she's just met. Now, why would she do that? It doesn't seem like something Ripley would do. Someone she cared about just died. She went from being distraught to jumping in bed with Charles Dance's character. Huh? But, moving on to effects, they are bad. The design for the alien is horrible. There is only like one good close-up of the alien, and it's the scene where Ripley is taking a shower. Other than that, the CG is really noticeable, and rewatching it, it feels very dated. It does not help that the aliens are not frightening at all. It goes back to the whole thing what I said about the design. An alien dog? Are you freaking serious? We went from this intimidating creature in the first two Alien films to an alien dog. You can say that's creative. What would an alien look like if it was in the form of a dog? But it's absolutely ridiculous. An alien freaking dog? Come on. And like I said, with the terrible CG, it just looks bad. By the time we get to the third act, it continues to be even more and more frustrating with this movie. For whatever reason, someone decided that getting a first-person view from the alien was a good idea. Sort of like Predator. Why did they wait like 2 hours to do that? Seems pretty random. Like, if it works, I'm not gonna judge. But here we witness some real nauseous camera work. Jolting from side to side and flipping upside down over and over again. It's hard to watch. It's not a very effective trick. And aside from that, we get a used up, uninteresting third act that lacks any intensity. And the final revelation that we learn about Ripley is rushed and not even given enough time to be effective. The last couple of minutes pretty much rip off the sacrifice scene in the year prior in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. That scene alone is probably the worst CG of the film. The lava and the CG Ripley that they threw in there has so much pixelation. Like, it's crazy. For a 1992 film, that is absurd. It's like they ran out of a budget. And if you watch the theatrical version, you bear witness to the most out-of-whack thing they could have ever done. And it involves an alien bursting out of Ripley's chest. It's like the studio was like, genius! That's gonna please everybody. Not gonna feel cheesy at all. And it's gonna be a real great setup for Alien Resurrection. Anytime I rewatch this film, I watch the special edition, because having some absurd idea that the studio decided to throw in for no reason, other than to have more on-screen alien time, I just cannot take seriously. It's so stupid. Why? Anyway, I'm gonna be giving Alien 3 a C-. Despite the problems that the film possesses, there are still some positives. For one, it's a much more darker film. Ripley still has some great lines and continues to build an interesting character complex. She's facing her hardest challenge yet, being surrounded by a bunch of criminals who haven't seen a woman in years, and she's kind of in danger from them. Also, she's got to survive an alien uprising, in addition to dealing with eternal issues of her own. It's just making all the pieces click was a bit of a miss, and some of the ideas were just unnecessary, in a way, laughable even. And just, they should have maybe even listened to some of the things that Fincher had to offer, because he definitely, like I said, had some unique ideas for the film, just they weren't brought to the surface. I don't hate this film. There are things that I like, but it's disappointing knowing that the film had potential to be great and just ended up resulting in a complete mess of a film. In a way, kind of, I guess you can say it's a little bit shocking that it's not as bad as it maybe should have been, considering all the trouble that the film had. But still, far from being up there with the other two Alien films. But anyway, guys, that is my review of Alien 3. Be sure to stay tuned for my review of Alien Resurrection. That's gonna be interesting. But anyway, if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up down there on the bottom. Comment your thoughts on this film if you have any. Some people love this film, consider it like an art form or something, so I don't know. Whatever your thoughts are on this film, please comment down below there. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do down below as well. And I'll see you guys next time for more unboxings, reviews, and movie news.